Good morning, Saturday, April 25th. We're looking down in the direction that I came up yesterday afternoon, Cross Canyon Trail. And I spent the night over on that little hillock just beside the trail. I had actually stayed there in March, found it to be nice. We got a lot of overcast this morning, some condensation, not too bad. That's the direction Cross Canyon Trail is going, and we're about a half a mile, I think, from Coit Road, which is up there on the ridge. So let's get hiking. There's the part of Cross Canyon Trail that I just traveled. And I'm the first one on the trail this morning, I'm sure. And I saw this earlier a second ago on a piece of grass, but decided to stop and share this with you. Will it focus? Not really. If I get closer, will it focus? Well, you might guess what I'm trying to focus on here. How about if I aim at the sky? Will the camera understand what I'm trying to focus on? Well, ticks is what they are. Sorry that I seem to not be able to get a good image of it. There's, what, like 8 of them there or something? I did not count. Permethrin, by the way, works great. I treated my shoes and my clothing before coming out here. And I've seen ticks literally falling off of me. I heard, it says that it's lethal to ticks. Apparently it's true. Just came along that section of Cross Canyon Trail, and it's just filled with larkspur and ethereal spears and some Chinese houses right in here. Beautiful. And then across the way, we've got, well, that's Heartbreak Trail coming down the ridge across the way there from up at Willow Ridge Road. Heartbreak Trail comes down along that ridge and across Kelly Cabin Creek Canyon and then up Cross Canyon Trail. And looking off in the distance, we can see again Mahoney Meadows. Beautiful, luscious oak savanna, I guess is what you would call it. And then a little closer in the foreground, we've got the junction with Mahoney Meadows and Coit Trail. I don't think I'm focusing on what I want to focus on. Because that up there is Blue Ridge once again. That's what I wanted to focus on. And then closer in over here is Coit Road, leading to Mahoney Meadows. And I'll be joining that very soon, because I'm going to keep hiking in this direction. Oh, almost forgot. I stopped because of this lovely specimen. And the app says this is chaparral honeysuckle. So there's the flowers. Gorgeous. And there's the foliage. Just came out Cross Canyon Trail here. Barbary Trail in the distance, if you can make it out. And have reached the junction with Coit Road. And I came up on Monday just across Coit Road and mentioned that I would be emerging on this side of Cross Canyon Trail. And now that's what I'm doing. And my plan had been to go left up Coit Road in that direction and check out some places I hadn't been before, including Blue Tank Spring and Elderberry Spring. But the fact is I lost a day Tuesday to the rain and just sat around. I'm gonna chop a day off here and not try to hike it. My battery bank did not give my phone a full charge, and I'm pretty tired anyhow. I just took a picture with the app of this flower, which the app says is Annual Agoceras. Annual Agoceras. There is quite a field of them here, and they're very cheerful on a gray morning. Lovely. So I'm going to continue essentially back the way I came on Monday. So I probably won't be taking a lot of videos, since I did take a lot of videos on the way in. Here's the junction. Off I go. Looks like a turkey vulture. I have been coming down this route on Cross Canyon Trail, the part on the other side of Coit Road from where I slept, and it looks like some brand new puffballs have come up. I don't remember sighting these guys growing right in the trail on my way in on Monday, so I guess the rain was enough to get them to kick into motion. So I'm going to be continuing down this way, Cross Canyon Trail. On the Grapevine Trail, from Cross Canyon Trail, there was a short little jog on Coit Springs Road to hit the Grapevine Trail. Headed on down. I can hear water running over there. There's some ethereal spear. And on this side, quite a lot of globe lilies. There's some up there. There's some here very close. Those ones have seeds as well as flowers, seed pod. And I couldn't resist this California buckeye. There's no evidence that the tip bloomed like I'm seeing on some others. But this is right on a trail, so things get knocked off too. Look at how pretty. Here's one that is blooming at the tip. And this is the way that I'm proceeding down Grapevine Trail. Still on my way down Grapevine Trail, just past Upper Grapevine Spring. And got to this point and noticed this little dude. Let's see, where is he? Sorry, zoom out. There he is. So the app says it's a painted tiger moth. Not sure what shrubbery there that it's on that it loves. There's the water flowing along and the way I'll be headed to Lower Grapevine Spring. Came around the bend there from Upper Grapevine Spring and stopping here at Lower Grapevine Spring again. And I completely trampled over a bunch of these little mushrooms that have sprouted since I was here last. And the app has given me several different identifications. It's interesting the way they seem to kind of emerge gills foremost in some cases, like this one. So yeah, the app has said it's candy cap, southern candy cap, milk cap, scurfy twiglet, or something like that. They are in great abundance, whatever they are. But I will not be collecting any, obviously, if I can't identify them. Wondrous. I'm gonna grab a leader. I've been pretty dehydrated the last few days, I think. So even though I left camp with most of a leader, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a leader. Maybe I'll try to ID this little bunch here. See if the app can recognize that. Leaving Lower Grapevine Spring, and it is actually sprinkling a little bit. You might be able to kind of make it out against the ridge there on the other side of Coyote Creek. Oh, this plant that the moth caterpillar was on is called creeping snowberry. So I'm continuing down Grapevine Trail into the sprinkles. That's the path I've been coming down Grapevine. Coyote Creek is down there. Cannot see it, but can hear it. Sounds like it's roaring. I've reached that spot where the dead critters in the middle of the trail Definitely does not look as fresh as it did on Monday. And also, it's turned 180 degrees. Now its tail is on this end, and its front claws pointed down the hill. I think it's a mole, but that's really just a guess. Headed on down to Coit Road very soon. That's where I came from, Grapevine Trail. There's the gorge where Coyote Creek is running. And Coit Road, look at how smooth it looks after that scraper was out here doing all that work. I suppose all this mistiness will help to keep down any dust that might have otherwise been stirred up and created from scraping. I had been considering taking a dip in Coyote Creek at that easy access point. Lots of ethereal spears here. But if it's just going to be cold and gray, oh, here's some larkspur too. And some more right next to it over there. Some more of the kind of magenta variety of the chick lupin. Beautiful. And noisy Coit Creek. Anyhow, oh, owl's clover. Seen a lot of that these last days. Anyhow, yeah, if it's not going to be sunny and refreshing and at least in the 60s, I probably won't be taking a dip. If it's just going to be hypothermia action, if I do. We'll see when I get there. Not that much farther to go. Coyote Creek entrance is 1.9 miles, it says down there. And then it's about a 2-mile walk back to Hunting Hollow. Coit Road after scraping. And it is continuing to drizzle a little bit. Biker just passed me. That's the direction I came down Coit Road. And I spotted here the only other elegant Clarkia that I've seen. And this one I can actually get close to and get a picture of. Yeah, the app called it Elegant Clarkia. Easier to say than Clarkia elegantia. It's not focusing on all the buds, but you can see how they sort of look similar to fuchsia buds. Very pretty. That guy on the bike actually looks like the same person I saw back in March on the Coit Road. On him on his bike and me walking. The app insists this is purple Chinese houses. That is not clear. At first I thought the app must be wrong, but perhaps this is how it looks when it's gone to seed. Oh, there's some focus. Oh, come on. How do I force it to focus on what I want? Let's try this area right here. It seems like it's focusing on the ground behind. Darn, I'll try to just take a photo. Coit Road, the direction I'm coming from. And a nice view of the historic Gilroy Hot Springs Garden. No, Gilroy Hot Springs Resort buildings. Or building, at least. I sure would like to go and check that out someday. Mist, light precipitation coming down. And continuing along, lots of chicklupin here on this slope. Some hairy vetch. Some ethereal spear. Some rose clover. Yep, beautiful. There's the junction of Coit Road and Anza Trail. And I have not hiked Anza Trail. There's a, you can see you can get to Grapevine Springs that way. There's a significant blowdown up there that hasn't been cleared. I walked past it in March. But I never walked over to this board until now. It's kind of a pity that they haven't replaced the plexiglass with something more transparent, because it has interesting history about the party. It says soldier and civilian, 33 families with children and 3 Franciscans trek along Native American footpaths of northern New Spain. From Sinaloa and Sonora, some 240 people travel to Alta California to explore the frontiers, convert the natives, and colonize the land. The expedition's supplies and sparse personal belongings are repacked onto mules each day. With too few horses, children ride double, and many walk. There is little water at infrequent desert oases. Snow on the desert and in the mountains is the first many have ever seen. Lacking enough tents, some must sleep in the open. 9 babies are born, and 1 mother dies in childbirth, one of only 4 deaths on the 1,800-mile journey. It says up there from summer of 1775 to spring of 1776. With only 70 colonists in Alta California, Spain fears other European powers. Spain must expand its settlements, and Anza's new settlers establish a mission and presidio at San Francisco, a pueblo at San Jose, and a mission at Santa Clara. Alta California is in Spanish colonial is in Spanish colonial control for a time because of the determination of Juan Bautista de Anza. Here's a quote: "Most excellent, sir, the fervent desire which at all times moves..." I can't make it out. Oh well. There's a map that also cannot be made out very well. And I guess that's a portrait. On the other side, there is clearer plexiglass. And they called this canyon Sierra del Chasco, Mountains of Deception. It says that when they came through here, there were only, 40, I think he said? And he made a note in his diary, April 6th, 1776. So that's near exactly 250 years ago, except now it's April 25th, 2026. Yeah, it looks like there are only 20 people. It says there in the first paragraph below the quote. Anza felt deceived by these mountains. He, Padre Pedro Font, and 18 others experienced these difficulties when they traveled through what is now Henry W. Coe State Park. They were returning to Monterey after exploring around the San Francisco Bay. I turned off Coit Road at that spot I showed you Monday, and I'm coming down to the what I call swimming hole. It actually gets much deeper over there, and I saw from the road a swing as well. I have not been over there to explore. I'm going to take this path down, and I'll chat with you more once I'm down there. Here I am, sitting down at Coyote Creek with 2 or 3 miles left to go to reach Hunting Hollow parking lot. So my trip is coming to an end. Today is Saturday, April 25th. I started my trip on Monday, 420, man. My goal in coming out here is training. I want to do a much more challenging hike in August in the Sierra Nevada, the North Secchi Loop with Ray Lakes tacked onto the end. So that will be at elevation. It will be longer than the number of days I've been out. Double the mileage, 2.5 times the elevation gain that I planned for this hike. So training is in order. I still work full-time, so my ability to train is pretty limited. I took this week off in order to do this hike. And my biggest lesson is that although I considered physical variables, for example, planning a challenging hike and carrying my bear canister, even though it's not required, just because it's heavy, extra challenge, I did not consider behavioral issues. So my main takeaway was that I felt like on most of the days I failed to reach my target, often by less than 2 miles. It wasn't critical that I reached my target, but there were ramifications. You know, I had less water than I expected as I'm dry camping at night. Less water as I'm getting on the trail the next day than I expected. But there's also a psychological element to it. If you have a goal and you miss your goal, it's kind of deflating, and you start to, reconsider, should I even be trying this at all? And that's kind of unnecessary. So the behavior that I think I most need to work on is getting an early start. I never started before 9, I don't think. Often I started between 9 and 10. Maybe on Wednesday after 2 nights at Los Cruceros, maybe I didn't start till 10:30, I'm not exactly sure. But starting late just means you're getting your early miles closer to the heat of the day. You're not getting out early before the heat of the day and getting a bunch of miles done, which gives you a great feeling and also encourages you to take breaks. I took very few breaks. I took breaks on 2 days, essentially. I think I took a video of each one. That's not a good idea. I think I would have enjoyed the hike more and performed better with more frequent breaks. So I considered getting up earlier every morning, but I just said to myself, oh, you're on vacation. True, I was on vacation, but I'm not on a vacation on a cruise ship with crew that are managing logistics and getting to the next port on time. So for my next outing, I'm going to work on that. I heard a bunch of bikes go by and I wasn't sure if someone was coming here. This was also my first hike where I took videos, and I found that really a delightful way to spend my time hiking, but obviously it takes time, and it makes the time enjoyable. So I'm undecided on whether I need to make any changes with respect to that. There's so much to say. But I don't guess I have to say everything, do I? If you've watched, I hope you've enjoyed. There are tips that I want to share. Maybe I'll just share one about water collection. I did not video much water collection. I think only Lower Grapevine. Very simple spring there. When I was at the bottom of Rock House Ridge Trail, where it junctioned with Blue Ridge and Narrows Trail and all those others, I collected water from Rock House Ridge Creek. That's what I'm guessing it's named. And the water was not very deep, so I took my 1 liter dirty bag and kind of dredged it into the water, which was maybe 3 or 4 inches deep at the deepest part. And when I picked it up to attach the filter, I could see a little, like a shrimpy looking thing, probably some insect larva. But anyway, I don't need that guy in my filter, so I poured that water out and collected more. And I used a little dipper, actually. My cookpot has like a frying pan lid, and I thought that was pretty useful to collect a little bit at a time, be able to survey the water and look at it, say, any flotsam in there that I don't want? Should I pour this into my dirty bag? So that's a good tip. I had seen, watching somebody else's video, where she had, it looked like about a 1/4 cup, little measuring cup, that she was dipping into the water over and over and over when the water wasn't very deep. and it helps prevent stirring it up, and it's a good method. I recommend it. Permethrin. I treated my clothing with permethrin, and I saw ticks literally falling off. They say that it kills ticks, and apparently it does. So, and I haven't had a single tick bite. I did not have any mosquito bites either, I think. There goes a quail. This outing, I've had very cool temperatures with a pretty constant breeze. And that's great for keeping the gnats at bay, and probably the mosquitoes too. Yeah, that doesn't mean I didn't sweat like crazy. I did sweat like crazy on a lot of those inclines. But that was sweating from exertion, not from the sun so much. It was a fabulous trip. I'm so glad I did it. And I definitely did have my moments of doubt, where I thought, I should turn around now, I can't go on. I should tell my friend I can't do the August trip. And I think I've got beyond those feelings. So I hope to get a few more outings under my belt. I'm thinking maybe I'll come out here and do just 2-night trips. Friday night, well, after work, it'll be so late by the time I could get out here. I don't know, I'll have to think about it. I do have a trip planned in May to do in the Santa Cruz Mountains. That'll be Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, 3-night trip. Keep moving, keep hiking. Stay on your feet as long as you can. It's backcountry weekend. All the cars, trucks that had been up there probably are out. Orostimba Wilderness. Well, maybe not the wilderness. Orostimba Corral or Dowdy Ranch area. Well, I'm doing the last little bit of Coit Road. We'll be hitting Gilroy Hot Springs Road very soon, the paved section. Over there is the bridge across Coyote Creek to Gilroy Hot Springs. There's a view of it. That's the direction I came from on Gilroy Hot Springs Road. And now we are just about back to Hunting Hollow. Yay, I see my car. It's still here. Along with many other cars. Woohoo! Fantastic journey. Complete. Well, except for the truncated nature of it. Awesome.